Welcome to Barry Charles Footy Show, Magic Round Review. On today's show, we will discuss some of the headlines out of the games of footy over the weekend, including Trent Barrett, Gomberger. We'll have a look at my Dally M points for the round and look at the leaderboard, as well as we look at a recap of all the Magic Round games. And also my predictions on what's going to happen on Thursday and Friday night footy, all for you in this show. Well, let's start with the biggest talking point of them all at the moment. Trent Barrett is gone. He has resigned on Sunday night and the Bulldogs are looking for a new coach. And to be honest with you, I agree with the Fox Sport commentary team at the NRL 360 that Phil Gould sent him packing. And even though Phil Gould is saying it's the board, it was definitely Phil Gould who was saying sayonara to Trent Barrett on Sunday night, and it basically forced him to quit. And to be honest, with the form of the Bulldogs over the last 2 years under Trent Barrett's leadership has been pathetic. 5 wins in 33 games for 15%. He just had to go. No matter how lovely the bloke is, he's just not providing results on the field. And to my opinion, he may never get another head coaching job again because he was not smart and he made the mistake of signing with the Bulldogs with a team that was going to be struggling, when he could have been like Craig Fitzgibbon and waited for the right team with the right roster, like the Cronulla Sharks, and have a team that's ready to play finals footy. You look at the history of some coaches here that have gone to clubs that are struggling. You look at Anthony Seibold, Stephen Kearney, Matthew Elliott, and Andrew McFadden, and then you got some more of the current ones here, Michael Maguire, as well as Nathan Brown, who's gone to 2 struggling clubs and hasn't been able to deliver. And is it because of their coaching skill or their lack of talent? So is Trent Barrett hard done by? You could argue yes. But again, in rugby league, results matter. Now, one of the biggest talking points is Michael Maguire to the Bulldogs? No way, Jose. If this rumour is true, I would be stunned. He's just going to go to a similar team like the Tigers that have not much talent on the book and expect him to change the results? I don't think so. So who would I go for? I think, again, like Trent Barrett, they could have just kept him and it's just going to be a long-term process. I don't think no matter who they're going to have, they're going to struggle for a while. But you can at least have your team performing to a certain standard above their ability. If you get a coach like that, then you know they're on the right track. And, well, where do you go? Do you look at past players? They've tried that with Dean Pay, and look how that went for them. They tried a young coach, Trent Barrett, that hasn't worked. So should they go for the safety of an experienced coach? Well, to me, I think you need to find someone that has Bulldogs DNA all through them. And that's with the likes of the Terry Lambs, Jonathan Thurstons, and the Steve Prices of this world. So for me, if I was the Bulldogs organisation, I'll be getting Steve Price on the phone, the former captain, Bulldog sensation, and came to the Warriors and turned them into a decent team. I'm talking about that Stephen Price, folks. He's very cool, calm and collected. Him or even a Michael Innes, one of these two should coach the Bulldogs for mine. And having the assistant coaches around him like Jonathan Thurston, Willie Mason, and Ruben Wiki. And then you've got a star-studded coaching team that can deliver long-term success. You got to build a culture, and Steve Price, for me, or Mick Innes, can bring in that culture to deliver. If you can't get the likes of Billy Slater, of course, he would be another prime candidate for this sort of role if you're looking for long-term success. But yeah, and also in the mix, obviously, you got Brad Fittler, and to me, someone that I talk about is Jeff Toovey. He seems to be forgotten about. He's a very good coach, and he would be ideal if you want to bring toughness back to the Bulldogs. And then also you got Shane Flanagan and Paul Green in the mix as well as maybe Cameron Ciraldo, but I can't see him moving to the Bulldogs. He will learn this lesson from Trent Barrett and wait for the right opportunity. So it'll be interesting to see where the Bulldogs land in terms of getting their next head coach. So what does this mean for the players like Matt Burton and Tavita Pangai Jr.? Are they both going to go to Redcliffe? That is the rumours out there. It's a possibility. And what about the likes of Kikau? Will he pull out and go somewhere else? And same with Reid Mahoney and stay in Parramatta. Interesting times ahead if you're a Bulldogs fan. Now I want to talk a little bit about the Queensland selection. Now people will say these are gimmies, but I just don't believe it. Kalen Ponga and Daly CherryEvans, do they deserve their spot in the Queensland squad? I believe Reece Walsh and Sam Walker are the future of Queensland. I just don't see CherryEvans at Queensland level. He just doesn't rise to the occasion. At NRL level, he's one of the best. When you go to that next level, you just need a little bit more time. He just doesn't seem to have it all CherryEvans. I personally believe Sam Walker has shown the ability that he could be the next Andrew John. I think he's that good. And he's also got the toughness of Alfie Langer. And if you can get him some big defence on the side, like the Tony Carroll days, if they can get a Kafusi or someone out there that protect him in defence, over time he's going to improve and be a sensation for Queensland for many years to come. But there is an argument that the flashy pants side of footy doesn't suit State of Origin. And you look at the greats, well, the players, you got Cleary at the moment, who was the number 1-7 in the game. You got Lockyer. You got Cronk, Jerome Hughes at the Storm. All these guys are pretty similar, that they are, kick to the corners type players, not that much razzle-dazzle in their game, and will get you home in the tight games when needed. Versus players like Andrew Johns, Jonathan Thurston, Cliffy Lyons back in the day, Alfie Langer, and of course Sam Walker. They play a different style of footy, backyard footy, obviously Matty Bowen as well, add him to the list, which these players can turn a game on their head in the space of 5 minutes and scoring 3 tries just like that. That's what these players do, and there's not many in the game that can do this sort of footy. So having Munster and Sam Walker 6 and 7, people will argue, wow, is that a good mix? When you can compare it to Luai and Cleary. So Cleary is the conductor, and Luai is the unstructured footy. Now, there's an argument that you had one of the greatest ever play the game, Andrew Johns, struggled to make the number 7 his own at New South Wales level. And he had all the talent in the world because he just couldn't quite get the structure right at that level. Well, to me, you just got to put them in and let them play footy. Because I just think Sam Walker's outstanding. And imagine against a brilliant forward attack, he could be something special for Queensland. For me, he's my number 7 for Queensland. Let's get to Reece Walsh. To me, he's been just more consistent over the whole season than Kalen Ponga, and Kalen Ponga is supposed to be the more experienced. Now, I probably won't happen because Kalen Ponga has been very good when he's played for Queensland. And I'm not going to deny that. He's been very good just about every time he's played for Queensland. He has gone up a level. So that is something that I will give Ponga. When he's gone to that level, he has played exceptional. But when he's playing for the Knights week in, week out, he's been very inconsistent. And that is something that he needs to improve in his game to be a true great of the game. Where Reece Walsh, just about every week, has been competitive and doing his best for the Warriors and a beaten side a lot of the time. He's a true talent, Reece Walsh. If he's not in the starting lineup, Reece Walsh to me is the perfect 14, and I think he deserves his shot. State of Origin footy. Now, just speaking of Ponga, I think he's going to rue the day he stayed with the Knights. Because I think if he went to Redcliffe, he would be a superstar under Wayne Bennett's tutelage. I just think he's not delivering under Adam O'Brien as he could be. And he's just missing out on that little 5-10 inches of talent he needs. And whether Andrew Johns could get him there, there's a question mark over that. Because Andrew Johns is no doubt a great player. Is he delivering as a coach? Time will tell. So if you like what you've seen so far, it would be awesome if you subscribe to the channel, like down there, and also kick the like button out of the stratosphere, because rugby league is the best game in the world. Would be much appreciated. Let's get back to talking about footy, and let's have a look at the Dally M points of the round chosen by me. My 3 points had to go to Adam Reynolds. He orchestrated a symphony of beautiful music, or should I say beautiful rugby league, and absolutely carved up Manly, kicking to the corners beautifully for Cobbo. Just doing those 1%ers that are needed to win games of footy. He was just absolutely on fire in Magic Round. What a masterclass from Adam Reynolds. He's a shoo-in for Buy of the Year. 2 points to the round go to Sam Walker. As I keep saying, he is the Queensland number 7 for me. And 1 point goes to the man who returned for the Titans. Jaden Campbell was outstanding. Playing old school footy with like his dad, Preston. And to me, he reminds me of a Brett Mullins, David Peachy type player. They're just absolutely elusive, steps galore and away. He's a rare talent, and I hope he continues to improve because he could be an outstanding player. Jaden Campbell. As you can see on the screen now, let's have a look at the leaderboard here in the Barry Charles Footy Show Dally M points. Well, Cameron Munster is absolutely carving up with 8 points. He is the best player in the NRL this season. There is no doubting that. He has been outstanding. Jumping up to clear second place by himself is Adam Reynolds, and his consistent Formula 8 has proven why he is number 2 at the moment. And then there's a host of players on number 3, including Sam Walker, who's just joined that 3 points. It'll be interesting to see who is there at the end of the season. And one person I think that's been a bit unlucky, or as I've said a few times on the show, Matt Lodge. He's been very good of late, and I just think he deserves a mention as one of the better forwards going around at the moment. as well as the Raiders forwards as well are going well, but just haven't been able to get points as yet. And also other people that have been unlucky not to get points here are Nathan Cleary, Cody Walker, Scott Drinkwater, Peter Hiku, Chad Townsend. A lot of Cowboys players are playing very good and yet to get points. And then there's other players like Tommy Turbo. They're just not delivering, and you'd expect them to have points by now. It just hasn't been the season for Tommy Turbo. Now, what you've been waiting for, the recap of Magic Round. Starting off with Friday footy, arguably the worst game of Magic Round. Bulldogs versus the Knights. With Trent Barrett, not firing a shot in attack. The only good points out of this game was the return to form of David Clemmer, Mitch Barnett returning from suspension, and he played very well. But the jury is out on a few players that are injured or all playing badly in the Safidi brothers, Tyson Frizzell, Bradman, Beast and Ponga are not delivering enough for the Knights. And Bulldogs have similar issues with players like Matt Duffy, Paul Vaughan, Tavita Pangai Jr. not living up to their price tags. With Josh Adokar and Matt Burton must be thinking, should go back to the Panthers Storm, at least they have a chance in winning a premiership. The next game on Friday Night Football, and I think the most impressive win from any club, was the Brisbane Broncos. And again, the Adam Reynolds masterclass as they win 38 points to 0. Keeping Manly to Sarah is uncalled of. This is the old school Broncos, which is nice to see. Sal Nkobo was a close second to Adam Reynolds in terms of game. He was outstanding. What an intercept. If you watch the replay back, he was outstanding running away for a beautiful try. But for the Warriors fans, signing of Dylan Walker, if you watch it back, he just gave up by the 50-metre mark. He was giving up, not even trying to stop the try. And it doesn't matter in footy if you're not going to stop him. He could fall over and you could be there to tackle him. It's happened before. But unfortunately, he has given up, and that's not a good sign for you Warriors fans, because I thought he was going to be a good signing, but maybe not after that defensive effort. What's doing Manly? Turbo is obviously injured, something going wrong there. But to be honest, the forward pack is one of the worst in the NRL. Their prop rotation is just not up to NRL standard. And what can they do? They need to sign some players. And players like Matt Lodge should be high on their register. They need to get some more mongrel back into their forward pack like they used to, like the Brent Kites, Glenn Stewarts of years gone by. They need a bit more grunt in the forward pack. Also, Manly are outside the top 8, and will they even get back in the top 8? That's going to be question marks for them. As they also need a number 13. Well, I would say Josh Schuster could be the number 13, but apparently he's going to be playing number 6. So they need to find a number 13 ball playing lock like Victor Adley and Isaiah if they want to be a consistent top 4 team. Now let's head to Super Saturday, one of the ugliest games of the round. Well, for interesting games of the round, you could say here. The Rabbitohs versus the Warriors. The Rabbitohs nearly blow a 26-0 lead, but hold on by 2 points. So what can we say? Cody Walker looked outstanding for 30 minutes, and then he went to sleep. And on the Warriors side, what was that first half like? As soon as Tohu Harris joined in, they look like a totally different outfit. And Matt Lodge's form has been very outstanding, and he's been very good for the Warriors. But the glaring obvious problem with the Warriors is their edge defense. And why the hell did they let Peter Hiku go? Was Nathan Brown crazy? The young players are just struggling. They just don't have the talent. And also the same mix with the defence bad on the side, which they've always had for 20 years. But they're missing the running of the Manus and the Francis Malleys of the days and making big 150 metres a game sort of players. They're missing that, the Warriors, out of their back 3. The only one that was looking pretty good was Jesse Arthurs, but unfortunately he's been injured. And also the Warriors desperately need to find a number 9 and number 7. They put a lot of money into Sean Johnson, but unfortunately he is past his use-by date. He can play well, Sean Johnson, but he just doesn't do it every week. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, I don't know if that's because it's Nathan Brown, they need a better coach. Maybe if they sacked Nathan Brown and got a Jeff Toovey in, then maybe the Warriors, Sean Johnson would turn it around. But if you look on the other side, the Rabbitohs, to be honest, they're just lucky they've got an easy draw the next 4 weeks. Otherwise, they could be looking at being outside the top 8, because the way they're playing, even though Latrell Mitchell is coming back soon, I don't know if they'll beat the top 8 team this season for the rest of the season. They're just playing too poorly for me at the moment. The second game of Saturday Night Football and Magic Footy was the Titans versus the Dragons. And from the game, you saw nothing that suspects that either of these two teams will be a top 8 team. The Dragons on paper, their forward pack is one of the best in the comp, but I think they are missing a number 13 and possibly the number 9. Andrew McCullough was just a bit too slow for the new game we got of footy. But yeah, they're missing a ball-playing lock. Jack DeBellin's a good player, but he just doesn't have that ability. On the other side, Titans are missing Jamal Fogarty, obviously, in the number 7. That was a big mistake letting him go. But the positives out of the game here, Jaden Campbell returned, he was outstanding for the Titans. And Ben Hunt has been very consistent this year for the Dragons, but question marks whether he should probably be playing number 9, but do they have the talent to find a number 7? That is the question for the Dragons fans. And what was supposed to be the game of the round, the last game on Saturday Night Football between the Panthers and the Storm, with Ryan Pappenhausen and Jerome Hughes out, the Storm were in shambles and were absolutely outclassed by the Panthers, with only Cameron Munster having a dig. He was the best on field in the first half, but as the Storm continued to struggle, his form fell in the second half. Penrith, simple as this, they are the best team in the comp right now and look certain to be back-to-back premiership winners. The only way this probably is going to stop is if an injury comes to either Nathan Cleary or Isaiah Yeo. They're two glues in this premiership window. Even Dylan Edwards you could argue as well. But if you get an injury to one of those two, look out, big trouble for the Panthers. But otherwise, they look smooth sailing towards another final. Let's have a look at the next game. The Raiders absolutely giving it to the Sharks. Absolutely outclassing them. Nico Hines went from hero last week to zero this last week. Just disappointing. He just did not play up to his standards. But the Raiders forward pack delivered. Tapane and Papali are just playing outstanding footy and a beaten team. But this week, they got the victory. But obviously the Raiders season has been a bit knocked around with Fogarty being injured and Hodgson and lately Jack Whiten. So question marks. But it was good for see Sticky get a win. But I just don't see Raiders being the top 8 team this season. And what's happening for the Sharks here? Craig Fitzgibbon is finally realising that the NRL is not so easy. And he's going to have to find some form out of his players because they've been a bit hot and cold the last few weeks. They got it done against the Warriors with 12 to 11 men. But let's be honest, the Warriors were pretty pathetic in that game. So it'll be interesting to see how Craig Fitzgibbon gets them to turn around for this week's game. Well, probably one of the games of the round, but I wouldn't say it was superstar games. But the Roosters and Parramatta saw a return to form of Sam Walker. Well, he has been in pretty good form, I thought, this season. A couple of games might not have been there, but he was outstanding. So was Mitchell Moses. He was carving up Deluxe in the beaten side. Both of them played very good football. My question marks with both these teams is defensively. That is costing them any chance of being premiers this year. Their defence just doesn't looks shaky. And it's not the thing you'd expect from the Roosters side especially. And even Parramatta, they've been good defensive teams, but they just look a little bit below the Penrith Panthers. And also, our wide Parramatta have had some injury concerns, but Sevo returning and Sean Russell, they could be coming back to some sort of form, and it could start on Friday night for them. The last game of the Magic Round was the Cowboys versus the Tigers, and the winners expected. The Cowboys would just had too much firepower for the Tigers. And they're going very good as a unit, the Cowboys, and to be in the top 4 is outstanding. We'll see if they can continue the rest of the year. But on the Tigers side, I just don't know what they're doing. But Michael Maguire will be gone this season. Now let's have a look at Thursday Night Footy. The Knights versus the Broncos. And Anthony Milford makes a return, as well as Tyson Frizzell, with a few players like Jake Clifford being left out of the side. And also Tex Hoy, who I thought is one of the better players for the Knights lately, being left out. Surely the Dolphins or a few of these other clubs must be seeing the way he's playing. He's playing very good footy. I just don't know why he's not getting the game time. I just don't understand it for me. But this is a game I think the Broncos will get it done by 12 points. I think the Knights will give it a good red-hot go for 60 minutes, but I think they'll tire out in the last 20. As we go to Friday Night Football, the West Tigers taking on the Bulldogs. This is honestly a flip of the coin game. Anything goes. We don't know what sort of side the Bulldogs are going to pull out with the flu going around the club. But the West Tigers aren't playing much good either. So I'm going to go for the Bulldogs to win by 6 and get a game for their interim coach, which I believe will be David Furner. And the final game on Friday Night Football sees Manly versus Eels. And this is one of these games that you'd expect Manly to bounce back. But I just got a funny feeling Eels need to make a statement and they need to do it on Friday night. They need to show the NRL competition we are the real deal. And I believe they will do that and by winning by 18 points or more. Well, thank you. That's enough from me here at the Barry Charles Footy Show for the Magic Round review. I hope you enjoyed the video and be good if you can kick the like button and subscribe to the channel so we can spread the love of rugby league all around the world. And until next time, on Saturday, when I'll talk about the Saturday and Sunday league games coming up and some of the other breaking news that comes out during this week. Until then, ciao for now.